Okay. Hello, everybody. We're back. I'm Nicodemus Kane. Um, it took me a second. I don't know why. My my camera it just looks so weird. I don't know why it's at this weird angle, and I'm not doing anything different. It's just it's at this weird angle, and nothing just looks right. But I'm Nicodemus Kane. I am back once again. Um, I had a lot of stuff planned, and I might still do it tomorrow. It's actually Saturday night. It is September the 6th, 2020. Um, I was talking to my wife the other day, and she asked me if I was worried because I've been. Well, she said, "Can you believe it's September already?" And I said, "Oh yeah, it's September." And she said, "Why, you getting the heebie-jeebies about September?" And I said, "Well, every one of those bad numbers that we talk about starts with a 9. So, you know, we're 3 days from a 9/9/2020. We're we're 5 days from a 9/11/2020, and we are, oh God, math. 17, is that right? 17 days from a 9/23/2020. So I said, yeah, I'm kind of a little skeptic. I don't know what's going on. By the way, this is root beer. It's not beer. It's good beer. This is or good root beer. This is Wine Hearts. Wine Hearts. This stuff's good. It's a very sugary kind of root beer. I'm a kind of a root beer connoisseur. Not really. I mean, I've had a lot of root beers, and trying to find them, trying to find most local guys that I've had, are really good. But just trying to find them in a store, that's one of the better ones that I've had at least. Uh, but yeah, September, man. She kind of brought that up the other day, and I said, "Ah, God, it's September, yeah." And I was thinking about, doing a video on some, the numerology of it all. Maybe going back to the 9/23 and talking about that again, or talking about the 9/11 stuff again, or had an interesting revelation today. Um, about Labor Day. And I'm not going to say it's true, and I'm not going to say that, you could put any stock into it. I just find it rather interesting. Um, so there's a lot of guys that have talked about Jesus being born in September because that would have been about the time when, especially with the, what is it? One of the feasts that happen in September. Is it? It's not. Is it trumpets? I don't have it in front of me right now, and I haven't been. I haven't been paying attention. My mind has been on many, many other things. We had the grandbaby the past week, and I haven't really been able to, focus on much besides work, which I've been doing 10 hours a day overtime, and the grandbaby. So it's work and then baby, work, baby, work, baby. So I am definitely going to enjoy having a Monday off. They told us all at work, everybody's going to take a day off because before they gave us the option of working on the holiday, and I was like, yeah, I'll work on a holiday. It doesn't matter to me because the holidays, man's holidays, mean nothing to me whatsoever. But they forced us all. They said, no, 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 you're going to take the day off. Everybody's going to take the day off, and you're going to go do whatever it is. And So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I'm taking the day off. So this long weekend, I'm going to try to get my brain back together because my brain has just been fried, just so absolutely fried. Um, but I had the revelation of Labor Day, and there's guys that talk about Christ being born on September 11th. There's talk about him being born anywhere between September 4th and September 23rd. Maybe September 23rd is the actual date. I don't know. That's up to you, and you can look all that stuff up, and you can get into it for yourself, see what you really think. And I was thinking about Labor Day. It just kind of snapped into my head. I was upstairs washing my hands in the bathroom, and it just kind of popped into my head. What if the way that the world works, since they take all of the days, the actual biblical, not religious, biblical holy days that revolve around Christ and revolve around God, the Most High. What if they took that? Well, they take it and they move it somewhere inside of the month that it's in, with the exception being Christmas, because that's not even. But like Easter, they move around, and all those different things, and it kind of got to me. Labor Day. What if Labor Day was a day of the actual labor of Mary? And it just kind of stopped me for a second. I said, they can move it around. They've moved it around all they want. They always make it the first Monday of the month, and it doesn't have to be the first Monday of the month. But I was like, if you put it on the second Monday of the month, that's really close to the 11th. Could be the end of the month. I don't know. It was something that popped into my head, and I was like, that's something to look into. That's something to really look into. If you guys want to go try to find out what Labor Day is. It can't just be a day that they let the plebes have off, oh, we appreciate all the work you're doing, so we're gonna give you a day off. It can't just be that. I don't know. It just popped into my head. I don't know if it means anything or not, but maybe somebody can look into it. Um, but I've been kind of kind of frustrated. Kind of frustrated with the more I see, the less I believe. Just things going on in the world, and it's just like, I know people are standing up. I know people are standing up and standing up for their rights, and lawlessness is still abounding, and people are just becoming more and more just evil-hearted and cruel, and it just seems like more and more people just refuse to even acknowledge the truth, and people are becoming arrested for the truth. I hear the stories that's going on in Australia. Somebody posts something online, and then the police show up and break down your door and arrest you. Man, that's just. And we just watched this documentary on Amazon tonight, about it was called "Can We Take a Joke?" It was about comedians, that are having a hard time because they can't just speak their mind anymore, because everybody has to be, hurt by something that somebody says. And they were talking about the First Amendment and having free speech taken away and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, it's one thing whenever you can't crack a joke on anybody because somebody might be offended, but it's another thing entirely that we have to cut down we have to cut down the free speech of people that are just trying to find the truth, that just try to question the narrative. And when we can see past the crap, that when we can't question what people above us, whether it's people that have money or people that have power or people that have any other thing above somebody else, that think they're above somebody else. When we can't question what they say about us and the things they do to us and the things they let us do, if we can't question that, then, what the hell, man? If we're being arrested and being shunned and being fined for just questioning the truth, for going against, something. What was it I was thinking the other day is, because some guy came to our door in a mask asking us if we were going to vote for some certain person, and it popped in my head, why are you wearing this mask? Why are you doing it? And if it makes you feel safe, then why are you going to force me to do it? Because he was asking us to vote for our current governor of Indiana. And I just wanted to stop him and say, well, it wasn't just that. It was something else. I don't know what the hell he was trying to get us to vote for. I don't know what it was, but he had the shirt of our governor on. I knew that much. And I just wanted to tell him, I mean, do you really want to come up here and try to talk to me about this, and you're in a mask and I am not in a mask? And I wanted to lay into him. I really did. But I was just like, he said, what are you going to vote for and all this stuff? And can I give you some literature and all that? And I looked back at Angie and I was like, honey, do you vote? And she was just like, eh. I said, yeah, man, I'm not going to vote either. Sorry. Shut the door in his face. I was like, but it got me to thinking about, your fear of your health does not start where my freedoms end. I think that's the way I was thinking it. It was something similar along those lines. It was, I have my own health to think about. I really do. I've had terrible allergies, and I actually had an asthma attack the other day. I haven't had an asthma attack in forever. And I had an asthma attack. It's like, yeah, man, they want me to wear a mask. Are you shitting me? My health doesn't. My health is not on the chopping block as soon as your health comes into, comes into fear. Let's put it that way. Or comes into question, and all these little things just adding up on top of each other. And like I said, I haven't been sleeping very well. I'm getting 7 hours of sleep. I'm going to bed at 10. I'm waking up at 5, and then I'm working. I'm working 6 to 5, and then it's baby time, and then it's just trying to make it through. And today, we had the baby all week, because we had to babysit the baby all week, and I'm not going to go into details. And we had her this morning, and it was such a good morning. I love that baby. It's so good to be able to actually have time to play with the baby. She's 2 years old. She's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. The things that she does and the things that she says, and her imagination is it's just unreal. And her mom came and got her, and she left, and the only thing I could think of was, I kind of miss her voice. I miss her. I really do. I miss her. Because we had her all week, and we were just like, it's going to be so nice we get rid of the baby. Now it's like, I don't know where she went. But I had this dream the other night uh, about somebody I didn't know coming in and taking her. and her mom was there, which is Angie's daughter. Um, her mom was there, and she was saying that the person that was taking her, it's okay. It's okay for them to take. And I was like, you don't want that. You don't want that person to take her because there's so much stuff going on, and they may take her and do this to her and do that to her. And she just kept trying to tell me that it was okay, and then she started lying to me about who it was that was taking her, and I just kept getting this bad feeling, and it was today after she was gone that I kind of got the ability to be able to sit down and process what the dream was about. That I the only image that I had in my head was was of her not knowing where she was, and some random stranger holding her, and she didn't know where she was, and somebody put her down in a room with all these other children, and she was so nervous and so afraid that she was sucking on her fingers like she does. And I just could see her in my head just sitting there, and in the background I just knew that these guys were pulling out syringes, and and then it started getting worse. My brain started going into bad places, of them hurting her and her crying out for us, and just we weren't there, and it was just a mess. It's just an absolute mess, and it's I wasn't gonna record, because I wasn't really playing. I didn't really have anything planned out, and um, I just had to stop and get it out. When it compels you so much that you have to stop and talk about it, and that's what I did. That is a really big bug. Get off me. Get off me, bug. Damn. There's nothing to break the mood like some big ass bug comes out of nowhere and lands on you, right? So anyways, it's been that image. It's kind of been in my head all day, and you may think, oh, it's just you just dream, and it's just a dream. It's just a bad dream because you're thinking that something bad might come out of this and all that stuff. So here we go. Everything I've said for the past 6 months. Every time I look at the calendar, I say for the past however many months, I'm like, oh, it's this many months now, and it just drives me crazy because I don't know. Everything I've said for the past 6 months. I mean, we started talking about them coming into the houses and taking the kids back in April. I think that's when I did it. It was back in April. It's when I started talking about it. I remember posting stuff from the guy from the Who saying that now the transmission is happening inside of the houses, and we have to find some way that we can go in and respectfully pull people, whatever it was. And then it was right after that you started getting the letters from CPS in, what was it, Wisconsin or Missouri, one of the two. I don't remember exactly what it was. It's on a video. Go find it. But we started talking about that, where they were saying, they were setting up guidelines that they could come take children away if their parents were sick, caught this thing. And then what else was there? There was uh we were talking about schools opening, and they were laying down the framework of laws to be able to say, if some kid is sick in school, we can take that kid and we can move them to a place. And we were talking about people being forcefully quarantined, and we were talking about people being forcefully given shots, and we were talking about it. And at the time, everybody was saying the framework is it's there, it's already there. We just didn't see it, and now it's out in the open. Now they're just straight telling you, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take your children. We're going to forcefully take them, and we're going to give them a shot if they have to. College students in America are being forced to sign a waiver that says, yes, I will take vaccines whenever it comes. That's the only way you'll be able to go to school. And whatever you want to do with your body is your prerogative. Seriously, whatever you want to do. But when you want to force this down on the kids, and the framework, the laws are there already, you don't get to have a choice. You don't get to have a choice anymore, because it's been there. It's been there and it's been set up. And you can say, and you can constantly think, oh, it's not going to happen to us. It's not going to happen to us. Well, they're moving your elders into foster care homes. They've been doing that. They've been locking your elders in homes. My mother had to go to a care home 3 months and nobody could see her. Or was it 2 months? Month and a half. I don't know what the heck it was. And nobody could see her. My grandmother's in one right now. And nobody can go see her. And I had an uncle pass away about a month ago. We never had a funeral. We never had the closure. My mom is talking about moving everybody's houses into other people's names, because if they get stuck in a home for so many days, they can take our houses, their houses. And it gets 50 times worse in other countries. I've heard of so many different things, but if you just want to know how bad it could be, go see what they're doing to Australia. Go see what they're doing to is it Victoria? Is it, or am I wrong there? Melbourne? Somewhere around there. I don't remember exactly where they were. I hear so many different places and so many different things going on. Go listen to them. Go find out what's going on there. Why is my thing was messed up? I wonder if you guys even heard any of that. I don't know why in the world it froze. But I was saying, go find out what's happening in Australia. Get on Twitter. Get on Twitter and go find out what's happening in Australia. Find out what these people are going through. Find out about how bad the lockdowns are happening. Find out about the cops that are forcefully arresting people for not wearing a mask out in public. It's just forcefully. And I don't know if it's true or not. And some people say it's not true, and some people say it is true. It doesn't matter. The fact that it's being put out there like that should raise some kind of alarms. And if you don't think it can't come here, you're wrong. Because just about everything that they've got going on over there, they have some kind of law in America that could cover that. It's just they won't do it because they know that there's still too many of us that have guns, and we're not going to allow that. So instead of hearing about all the crazy, lockdown protests and stuff that are happening in America, we're getting the BLM protests. It's a completely different can of worms, and I haven't even remotely tried to cover into that at all. My thing keeps freezing. I'm hoping everything is coming out all right on this, guys, because I don't know why it's still freezing. I can see it. It's like one of those levels. I'll show it to you. You can see it when I talk. My level on the screen, it freezes every now and then, and I don't know why. It's frozen right now. I don't know if you can even hear me or not. This might be a good timestamp for me to go and see to make sure that it's. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what it's doing. My computer might be freezing. It's not showing that I'm dropping rate frames, so I don't know. I'm scared and worried, and not for myself. Because if it can happen, there's that bug again. If I see him, I'm going to get him. I'm not worried for myself. I'm worried for all the kids that are going to have to put up with what's coming. Especially my granddaughter. I don't know. I mean, if that was God sending me a message that I have to send off to you guys, then that's what it was. Because that's entirely possible. It's absolutely entirely possible for them to come wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and take your kid right out of your house. It's the framework is there. The framework and the laws are there. That anytime they want, they can do that to you. If you don't believe it, you go and find your state laws and see. Go find your state laws and see what their state laws say about coming and forcefully giving you shots. Because that's on the books too. And they use some bullcrap court case from 115 years ago to justify that. And it's absolutely absurd. There needs to be another ruling on that. There needs to be somebody, and lawyers. Where's all the lawyers that are awake? I saw one in a video who served it was a city council or something in Florida. She flat out served them with I don't remember exactly what it was. It wasn't a subpoena. It was something else. She basically just said, it's by rights and by law that, we are serving you with not living up to the expectations of your job, being a public servant and all that stuff. And where's the rest of those people? I know lawyers are the scum of the earth, but where are you at? There's got to be a couple of you that are awake that know what's going on. Seriously, why aren't you guys going out there and doing this? Why isn't anybody out doing this? I read a post on Twitter today that said, so are we just going to sit back and talk about this until it happens? Or are we going to do something? Are we going to do something? I mean, are we just going to let this come and just, we're just going to talk about it, and when it comes, we'll just be like, ha, I told you so. And then, we're screwed? I mean, is that what we're doing here? I really need somebody to tell me. because we're kind of out of options. We're slowly but surely losing options to be able to stop what's coming. And I've heard so many times over guys that'll say, this was told to us in the Bible, this is the way it's going to happen, and it's going to fall apart this way, and it's going to happen this way, and you know, it has to be like this and it has to be like that, and the Father told us. And okay, if it is the end, it's the end, and there's nothing we can do about it. Okay, fine, but that doesn't mean we're supposed to sit on our ass and do nothing. First thing we're supposed to do is we're supposed to spread the word, spread the truth, try to convert as many people as possible. I haven't done that a lot, and I know that because I've had so many other things going on, and I have said that I want people to wake up to the truth first and then find the rest of it out, because that's how I was woke up. I had to be shown the truth before I could be shown the truth. So that's been my way of doing it. It's time for me to start saying, and I said a little bit of it in the last video, that Jesus Christ was a real man, sent by God, by the Father, by the Most High, as the pure lamb to die for our sins. Not just to die for our sins, but in order to start the new covenant with his bride, which is the church, which is us, because he will be coming back. He will be coming back for his bride eventually. And he could not marry a dirty, filthy bride that the church, or that the people had become before Christ. He had to die, because a bride cannot become remarried unless the husband dies. That was a law. That was a law he fulfilled. One of the many laws that he fulfilled. People don't seem to get that. People aren't taught that. I think if people were taught that, they would understand a little bit more what was going on. I had somebody posted a picture of it was Christ, and he was saying, I created man and woman with original sin, which isn't true. And then I killed a whole bunch of people that didn't believe in me because of that sin, which again was not true. And then, what was it? And then I impregnated a woman so that I could be born and that I could die for the sins that I gave to the world. I think it's what it was. So that I could come back later and I cannot remember. My phone is way back there. I don't want to have to worry about my phone, but the whole thing just, was basically everything that everybody's taught the way that I had heard it. The way that religion tells it, is that we are born with original sin, and that we through the Old Testament, God killed off all the non-believers in the world, and that you know Christ was born because God impregnated a woman just so that he could die for the sins, so that he could be resurrected. And the whole thing, when you take it on that kind of value, it just doesn't make any sense. And I said, that's just not how it works. You don't understand. If you don't understand the basis behind it, you don't understand what's going on. First of all, we're not born, Adam and Eve were not born with original sin. They were born pure, but there was something that entered into their lives that caused sin. That was the lie. That was the original lie that they were told, because they didn't know. They didn't have a knowledge of good and evil back then. They took everything on face value. You get it? They took everything on face value. God didn't have to lie to them. God always told them the truth. And then some snake comes along, and seraphim, whatever you want to call them, cherubim, it doesn't matter. Either way, some entity came along and told them, well, are you sure that's what's going on here? And they believed him, because they didn't know good or bad. They didn't know somebody could lie to them. And that created this whole thing, that created this sin. They weren't born with it. They took it into themselves. And there was some kind of spiritual thing that happened, and I don't know what it is, and I can't explain it to you, because it's something that we're just not supposed to know right now. But something happened that caused death to become one of those wages of sin. That's how it works. When you talk about God killing all these people in the Old Testament, you can either take it as he was trying to get rid of the evils and atrocities of the world that were being committed. Because the one thing they don't teach you in history class is just how bad these people were. That every kind of lawlessness and evil, I mean, even up to the Roman times, they were doing some pretty wicked, evil crap. People don't understand just how bad it was. It was every kind of sickness, and just, whatever you could do to each other. That's what they did back then. You have to understand, that's in terms of the book, it got so bad before Noah, before the flood, God had to wipe it out. He had to wipe it out, or else nobody would have survived. Now, that's just where the sin was going. Now, if you want to go another way, the book talks about Nephilim and giants and other books. You have to get into other books if you really want to get down and dirty into it. If there were giants, if there was some kind of problem with humans that was creating these evil entities, and the Bible talks about this. If something was creating these evil entities, God had to preserve humanity in the only way he knew how. He had to wipe this out. And then you get on the other side of the flood, and they're still there. And he had to kill all those armies. And all the armies that they ever went after were all of these M's. The Anakim, oh shit. No, it's the Ites, Jebusites, the Anakites, it's not Hittites. Hittites. I used to know, man. I am so out of it right now. Because, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. So what do you expect, right? But it's all the Ites. It's all those descendants of Esau. Whenever Esau went up into the mountains after he lost his inheritance to, was it Jacob? who it was. But he went up to the north in the mountains, and all of those descendants were the descendants of the second big sin that happened, which was the incest that came out of Lot and his daughters. Everybody's like, oh, well, look, the Bible says that you can have incest, and, Lot was okay, and God was okay with Lot having. Okay. No, see, it doesn't work like that. See, it's his all of his generations were cursed because of that. They went off to make all of these, wicked nations and everything, and that's where all those came from. There's this whole thing about the Bible that people don't understand, and once you actually read it, and once you actually take it in, and take the little pieces here and there and understand what's going on. Really, one of the dudes, he's thumping through. God, he's shaking my walls. These people don't understand that those bass frequencies are so disruptive to the human body. They really are. I mean, not only are they just annoying as hell and they shake the walls, but they're just disruptive. They disrupt your body cavities, man. Whenever the dude goes by, and if I'm upstairs and I take it directly, it just feels like your heart's kind of beating out of your chest. It's not good, man. These people are ruining their lives, their bodies. But anyways, it was all those nations that he was trying to wipe out, because there was something wrong with the seed. Yet again, it was something to it. There's some kind of spiritual aspect to it that we don't know. You get into the other books and you find out that there was something happening there. He was trying to preserve humanity. This is basically what it was. He was trying to preserve us. That's why he was killing all those people. And then you get to Christ being born. And like I said, God had to come down in the flesh so that he could die, so that he could come back, resurrected, and take his bride. There was always talk about the church being the bride, and the bridegroom was coming back to get his bride, but his bride was unclean. His bride had become unclean up to that point, and he couldn't marry her. She was unclean. And he had to divorce himself from it so that he could make her clean, so that he could marry her again, so that it would be good this time. It would be right. There would be a new wedding, a new covenant. There would be a new way. That's what it is. That's why he did that. Some people understand it, some people don't. I never understood it. I never understood it until just recently, and then it clicked to me, and I said, that's what it was. And that's one of the laws. That was one of the laws that he put down, that he fulfilled, that he says he fulfilled. When a woman cannot be remarried until, unless, not until. Until makes it seem like until you kill your husband off. Until the husband dies, a woman cannot be remarried. And when she goes off to be remarried, she can become clean again by taking a sacrifice. I cannot remember exactly where in the book it was, but there is something about her giving the sacrifice off. And there's another thing about the cup. What it was either. It's been a hot minute since I've researched that stuff. But it was it has something to do with whenever whenever Christ was praying to God towards the end, he was asking the Father to take the cup away from him because it's some kind of Jewish tradition or Hebrew tradition about taking the cup away. I don't remember what it was. You can go find that out. But there was all of that, man. It's all in there. It's all in there. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Kind of took a turn, didn't I? I know. I did. The biggest thing to pull out of this is we've let an evil come into our lives in the form of a government that we never should have trusted to begin with. And they have lied to us and manipulated us to the point that they have made every law possible that they can ruin our lives in every way, shape, or form. And they have lied to everyone. They have manipulated everyone. They have maneuvered this skillfully, absolutely skillfully. I have to give it up to them. They found a way to screw us into a corner, and we just can't fight back. Um, and unless we stand up to it, it's just going to steamroll us. If, okay, here's one for you. The stories that they had of the Israelites that fled from Jerusalem. And I don't know if it's in the Apocrypha, but I know it was in another book that they were talking about, one of the African books that they said it's like $20,000 or something, but somebody actually got a PDF copy of it, and it was saying they had enough courage in order to keep their children from being taken by these evil, lawless, wicked people. And I've been hearing stories about the Germans after World War II was over, and the Germans that were left that got taken over by the communists, about how they were mistreated. Stuff you don't hear in stuff you don't hear in school. And it was the same way there too, is that they were, if they had enough courage to kill their own children so that their children didn't have to suffer through it, what was coming. Because you're gonna have to do some research into that. I'm not getting into that. I'm not talking about the things that they would do to the bodies and the things that they would do to. I'm not. I've heard enough of it over the past 2 weeks. And I don't think these people just laid down for it. I really don't. I think they had to have fought to a point, but they couldn't fight because it was too late, because it was right on top of them. And they probably didn't see it coming. But we see it coming. We're here. We see it coming. Why aren't you fighting? Why aren't you standing up? Why isn't anybody standing up? Or are we just going to sit here and talk about it? I think that's the biggest part of this whole thing. Are we just going to sit here and talk about it? or are we going to do something about it? So, and there you go. I can't I can't just sit and pretend that everything's going to be hunky dory anymore. I know that sooner or later Angie and I are going to have to sit down and have the talk, and I'm going to have to tell her, or I'm going to have to explain to her, we can't just skirt around the elephant in the room anymore. At this point, we can't just skirt around what is coming and going to happen. We can't just sit around and think, oh, it's just going to go back to normal and everything's going to be fine. Um, because it's not. They're doing some. That's just everything's there, and everything that's happening. Everything is happening because of it. It's just falling in line. Just bam, bam, bam. One thing after another. And if you don't see that, if you can't see that, if for some reason you are so blind to all this stuff that's going on that I'm telling you about, if you just don't know where to look, if you just don't know, what to do, I really don't know what to tell you. If you're on YouTube, in the comments, I put links to just about every channel that I get my information from. If you're on BitChute, you should be seeing this stuff. Go go on the homepage of BitChute and have it sort by all, like every video out there, and you're going to run across something. What I do every day is I go down all, and there's a bunch of crap on BitChute, but holy smokes, and it's almost the same videos. So if you can't find it, I don't know what to tell you. Like I said, get on Twitter. Go find out what they're doing in Australia. Because you don't think they can't bring that here, they're going to bring it here. It's going to be everywhere eventually. Something's brewing, man. It is September, for crying out loud. September. It is September, and you have a terrorist organization inside of the United States that's saying that they are going to cause mayhem and havoc all the way up until November the 4th. And something is happening on November the 1st. The signs are there. Everything's there. I don't know what else to tell you. You're either going to listen to me or you're not going to listen to me. You're either going to listen to other people or you're not going to listen to other people. I can't. Don't do it for me anymore, man. Don't. I can't implore people anymore to go do your own research to find out what the hell's going on. I can't implore people anymore to stop just talking about it and ask people what we're going to do. Ask people to wake up and take some action. I'll keep doing it. I'll keep saying it. My brain can't take it anymore, I guess. I don't know. If not for me, do it for my granddaughter, 2 years old. Put that image in your head. Put that image in your head of my granddaughter. You could make up whatever face you want to. You got kids, put your kids' face in there. If you've got nieces, nephews, whatever. Go think of the cutest baby you can think of. Doesn't matter to me. Put that in your head. Put that in your head of a little 2-year-old kid that doesn't belong to the person that's holding them, walking them into a room, and they are so confused and don't understand. They're sucking their thumbs, they're sucking their fingers. They're just really confused, and they're sat down, and behind them there's somebody with a needle. Take it one step further. Base that image off of everything you hear satanic ritual abuse survivors say. And behind that baby, Father, if it's your will, let me get through this. Take the word of satanic ritual abuse survivors, and behind that baby are other babies that are strung up, hung by their feet, hung by their hands on hooks, body parts. I have heard too much and I have seen too much in my life that I don't know where to go anymore. It's too much, man. It's too much. You either wake up now or you die in your sleep. Your children die in their sleep. Your mothers, your fathers, your elders, everyone. And if it is God's will, then you need to be right. And if you don't want to believe that, if you can't take the time to sit down, talk to God, pray to Him, pray to Christ that He will save you. If you can't do that because you don't believe, just know that He is there. He's ready for you. But you have to be the one that takes the step. You have to be the one that takes a step. My future is not guaranteed. All I can do is try to save somebody else. All I can do is hope that somebody else makes it through so that they can they can go find my granddaughter and take her somewhere safe. Maybe you'll get to meet her. I hope and pray that I will get to meet her on the other side.